Okay, so what if the 12-minute tune isn't good enough? Well, then you've got two options. You either take the bike to a dyno and have a specialist design a specific custom map, or you buy a developed map for your bike that covers the modifications that you've done. In my opinion, the dyno is only really needed if you're looking to push the performance of the bike and you want to get the absolute best from it, or you have real custom mods that a developed map won't cover. In my case, I'm going with the latter, and I've purchased a map from DNK Tuning. The DNK are based in the States, in America, and they are specialists in producing maps. They're very familiar with the Triumphs and in particular the Bobber, including the standard array of modifications that are available for this bike. I supplied them with the VIN number of the bike, the details of the mods that I've carried out, so the slip-on drags and the cat delete, and then they emailed me an updated map file that I've got to flash onto the ECU, and this came at a cost of $250. If this seems too daunting or too techno involved, you can send them your ECU and they will do it, but the idea of posting my ECU across the globe gives me the fear. If you don't want to do the reflash yourself, then I'm sure you could find somebody local that could do it for you. The cost of $250 covers the cost of the map file from DNK, but I have had a couple of additional costs. I had to download and license the the ECU Tune app. This is an Android based app and I've stuck it on this old tablet of mine at a cost of €25. And now that I've had a bit of a play with it, I think it's well worth the money that I'll go into shortly. I've also had to buy a new Bluetooth OBD adapter. I already have one that I use on my van and my car, and I use it on my iPhone and Android tablet, but it does not work with the bike. DNK do advise in their instructions that they do suggest a couple of OBD connectors at work, so I guess sometimes you get what you pay for, and my little 10 quid eBay adapter just doesn't cut it in comparison to the OBD Link LX that I got off Amazon for £102. So let's connect ECU Tune to the bike. So first you need to connect the OBD adapter to the connector that's located under your right hand kidney piece here. You take that off and then the OBD connector plug is just here. So I'm just going to fit the adapter in and there we go. Right, so I'll just leave that sitting there just there. DNK recommend that you pull the fuse for the headlight. It's not to drain any voltage during the ECU flash process. So I'm going to pull this fuse here, and I also have my Triumph Optimate charger plugged in just to make sure that the battery stays up at full voltage, and we'll be able to see that once we connect to the ECU Tune software. Right, so when you initially open up the Tune ECU application, you end up on a dashboard like this. I'm just going to turn on the ignition here, and then I'm going to go up to ECU, connect, and that's it connected to the bike. So I've got live data at the moment here, and at the bottom corner, on the right hand side here, you can see the current battery voltage. Now I said earlier that I think this application is well worth the money, and here's why. One, you can go into the ECU error codes, and you can see that I've currently got no codes here. Now you can read codes and clear them. Come back out of that. We can also go into tests and adjustments, and we can actually test different devices and do some different things. So I'll do the radiator fan just here as an example. So we'll go there, go to run, and you can see that the fan's kicking in and out. So potentially quite a handy thing if you're doing a bit of diagnostics. Okay, I've just had to move the bike because the rain's come on. Right, so when I first opened up this application, I couldn't figure out how to get the map section, and it was a bit of a faux pas on my part because it's as simple as swiping across and you end up in where the maps are located. And you can see this says that this map is protected, and the reason for that is that I already have the DNK TuneWorks file opened and it's a protected file, so I don't have any access to change any of it. So what I'll do is just, if I click on map up here, click open, and we can see there that's the name of the file that DNK TuneWorks have sent me, and that's ready to be uploaded onto my ECU. But before that, if I connect onto my ECU and then go to information, we can actually see, so we can see here, I don't know if you can read that statement, but it says that this is the original map, so this is 31090, and it is for production bike or with fans and hinds slip-on silencers. So this is actually a statement that's included with the original map. So if we go back out of that, this is us back on the map screen with the DNK Tune map still open. So if I go to ECU and reprogram, it'll come up here with a warning. Reprogramming your bike with this tool will void the warranty. Are you sure you want to proceed? Well, we've gone this far. Remove the headlight fuse and connect the battery charger. We've already did that, so okay. Incorrect values can damage, blah blah blah, yep. And that is reprogramming in progress. So this takes around 12 minutes. Oh, it's recalculating. So this is calculated as taking about 20 minutes. So I'll let this run and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so 93%, 94%, 2 minutes left, nearly there. And there we go, reprogramming done. Now I just caught that as it finished, and basically you hear the click click and the fuel pump kicks back in. So I'm just going to press OK, warning, turn ignition off, disconnect battery charger, replace the fuse, then turn on the ignition and start the motor. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so ignition off, and I'll just stick this fuse back in. Okay, so the fuse is back in, the charge is disconnected. I've just put the ignition back on, and we're back on this screen with the map detected. Now before I start it, there's one more thing that I need to do. So we need to swipe across to the menu where I can go into tests and adjustments, and go to adjustments, and then we need to reset the engine adaptations. Now that takes us back to the 12-minute tune again, except by resetting here we don't need to wait the time period until the engine heats up and the fan comes on. So basically I'm going to reset the adaptations, warning, that'll be reset, okay, done. And now all I need to do is start the motor and then we let it run for the 12 minutes. Now as you can hear behind me, there's an absolute decibel weapon now with the cat removed. As you can see here on the TuneECU, with the bike running, we've got live data, and we can actually swipe across and end up in this menu here. Now this is quite good, you can actually go in and pick what you want to be displayed here, but yeah, you've got all your live data, even down to the position of your side stand, clutch switch, neutral switch, which again is helpful for when you want to do diagnostics. Okay, so that's that. That should be the bike remap. So now all we've got to do is take it out for a ride, and the range just stops. I'm just going to get the side panel put back on here, and we'll hit the road. Now, before I go anywhere, I thought I would just check see if there's any error codes, and we're coming up with P0315 crankshaft position not adapted and P1575 cruise control. And there is a mention of both of these on the TuneECU website. So the range back on, typical. Right, so as the adaptation for the crankshaft sensor involves twisting the throttle, I thought I would move the bike to somewhere that's quiet. So I'm now in the middle of nowhere, where it's not going to piss off my neighbours. Now the engine management light is on because there's a fault code up, but the bike seems to be running okay, and I was able to drive along here, no problems. So I've reconnected to the ECU, and I'm just going to check the error codes again, and it's still the same. So with the crankshaft position sensor, you can force it into an adaptation, so that's what I'm going to do. So if we go into tests and adjustments, sorry about the rain here, and then crankshaft position adaptation, run, start the engine. So as you can see, engine's running, it says hold the throttle fully open, so close the throttle, crankshaft position adapted, okay.
Turn ignition off and wait 120 seconds.
Now that was actually okay, and I probably could have done that at home, but I wasn't sure when you went full throttle how long or loud it was going to be, and I didn't want to upset the neighbours. So that's done. I'm just going to wait 120 seconds, and then we'll get started and we'll get on the road again. This little section not as scenic, but I had to add it in because this is one of my favourite things about riding a bike, getting into a point where there is standstill traffic or roadworks and you just cruise on past. So, what's the verdict? There's definitely a difference when accelerating and building up through the gears. All in all, yep, I'm pleased with it. The engine management lights off, the journey back there was no problems. The crankshaft position sensor recalibrations obviously worked and the fault code's cleared. Still got the code there for the cruise control, and there's a procedure on the TuneECU website for how to reset that, so I'll have a go at that as well. But yeah, all in all, happy. So putting an end to this one, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you all on the next one.